Call the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start out with roll call and Rob.
Here.
Dave.
Here.
Carla's here. Dave R is not. And Al Quinn, present. Any changes to the agenda before we entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Al Quinn, supported by Dave, that we approve today's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carried.
Move approval of the minutes of the September 3rd, 2025 minutes.
Support.
Motion by Dave, supported by Al Quinn, to approve the minutes of September, of our last meeting on September 3rd, 2025. All in favor? Opposed, the same? Motion carried. Any public comment? Yes, not? All right, next on our agenda, we have a rezoning request for parcel 14007008002 from a Rural Preservation Act property to rezone into industrial. So I will open the public hearing at 5:01. Would you like to give us a little explanation of the request, Dee?
Yeah, let me find. Bill's report. So this is out, I pulled it up so you guys can see it. I don't know how to get out of this soon. So maybe you can't see it. Let's try this. Here we go. So I pulled up the aerial image just so you guys have an idea of where it's at. This property is owned by a Christopher Kress. It is located just off of Lumberjack Road. And as you can see here, and you can see in the application, this whole strip here, it's just the middle strip is rural preservation, which is then surrounded by agricultural. Typically, rural preservation is, I gave you the definition. It was chosen for specific reasons, and it can be based off the geography, it could be based off the soil type, it could be based off of maybe if that area floods frequently. So the reason that they put it into rural preservation was a definitive reason. It wasn't necessarily, let's just put it here kind of situation back in 2001. And Mr. Kress is looking to have it rezoned into industrial. The goal of this is because he currently has a buyer to hold his millwork operations there. Although the goal is mainly just for storage and then for the office for his business to be there. But he does not want to buy the property unless, of course, it is zoned in a way that he can use it, which currently it is not because it's in the rural preservation district. So Bill has a zoning admin report here. Gives you the basic information of the land, just the dimensions, the distance to the Pine River. It's not close, like you wouldn't need a soil erosion for that distance either, but it is back there a ways. He doesn't have currently any other permits because there also doesn't currently plan to be any structural changes, at least that were mentioned to us. There's no previous permit, special land uses or variances that are recorded in the system. There is a potential nonconformity, but we wouldn't know unless we did a site visit. The current structure is located 15 to 20 feet from the north side property line, and the district requires 25 feet from the side property lines. So currently it's potentially nonconformity, and if it were to be rezoned, it would also be a nonconformity. Again, nonconformities are just, they're pre-existing to these regulations going into place.
If by chance it were rezoned, would he also then have to get a reprieve from that nonconformity? Because he's going into another zone and he's not conformed, so would he have to get?
Even if it was rezoned to a different district, it would still be considered a nonconformity and would be treated just like any other nonconformity.
So he'd just be
Basically,
non-conforming.
yeah. Basically, he just wouldn't be able to make changes to the structure unless those changes fit the current district, whatever it may be, requirements.
So I'm just thinking if it were rezoned to industrial because he doesn't fit the 30-foot setback, he would not have to get a variance for that as well. Okay,
Nope, only if he wanted to say tear that structure down and rebuild it.
got it.
And then he would have to.
Okay.
You know what's in the building next door to the north there?
This one?
Yeah,
It is a residence.
Yes, this is a residence, not the potential buyer.
it's not another company.
I mean, they might have like a personal business or home occupation out of here. If you've seen something, but the primary use is a residence. And then this one, so on the first page, for the adjoining parcels, the north parcel is residential slash accessory use. The south parcel is residential slash accessory, as is the west parcel. And then the east parcel is just residential use. So all of them are primarily residences, or they're using them for like their storage structures or.
Spot zoning plus rural residential.
Right.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay,
So the request under review is again a rezoning of the parcel. The ordinance standards are listed there. I'm not gonna read what the section is, you guys can do that, but I'll read how this parcel and this request fits those sections. So for the first one, 18.7. The industrial district is intended to provide a location for general industrial uses. The facilities to be kept from encroaching in areas or districts where they would create a nuisance and be incompatible with existing use. The I-1 district should be located only in areas where public utilities and adequate paved county primary roads are available. Please note that there are no public utilities in this area. The next criteria for amending this map, 18.7 B, the area is, again, it's a Tidro loamy sand, and then we just looked up basically how would that fit with the proposed uses for that district. That type of soil has poor drainage, which can lead to high water tables and flooding for part of the year. It's also susceptible to settling and low load bearing capacity. 18.7 C, the uses permitted by right in the current district, the detached single-family dwellings, family daycare homes, accessory buildings, uses, home occupations. Special land uses are country club, golf courses, riding stables, public private schools, bed and breakfasts, etc. So that C criteria is asking for evidence that the applicant can't reasonably use the property for one of those uses, for any of those uses. The next criteria you guys are looking at is in terms of the compatibility with the surrounding areas. This is where you will have to make a comment on whether or not the proposed zoning district and the uses allowed are compatible with the surrounding uses and zoning in terms of like land suitability, impacts on the environment, aesthetics, infrastructure, potential influence on property values. And again, those surrounding uses and zoning districts on that first page for when you do discuss that. 18.7 E, this talks about the capacity of utilities and services to accommodate the proposed use. The industrial district typically needs high capacity power supply, natural gas or fuel supply, large and steady supply of water, adequate infrastructure for wastewater, sewage, major road access, and stormwater management. In terms of the street system, being safe and efficient, North Lumberjack is a county-owned and maintained road. The demand for this type of use, the apparent demand is low as there's only been one request received to be rezoning to this district for this area. There's the boundaries of the property. There's a 120 foot by 240 foot buildable area. Criteria I talks about if a rezoning is appropriate, the requested zoning district is considered to be more appropriate than another district of any of the districts that are allowable through our ordinance. That's to be determined by you guys. 18.7 J is not applicable because this is a map amendment, it's not a text amendment. 18.7 K, the requested rezoning will not create an isolated and unplanned spot zoned. Based on our evaluation, the surrounding zoning districts are ag and rural preservation. The request would create one parcel zoned industrial. Spot zoning is defined as the act of rezoning a small isolated parcel of land for a use that is different from the surrounding areas. So 18.7L, the request has not previously been submitted within the past 12 months. No. And then another criteria you need to discuss is if other factors are deemed appropriate for you to approve or deny amending the official zoning map. There you go. That is your explanation of all of the criteria you'll be looking at in the applications.
So on the, let's see here. 18.7 D. We need to determine if the surrounding zoning is compatible. Is that how I'm reading that?
18.7.
D.
Yes, are all of the permitted uses in that district compatible with the proposed zoning district's uses? Like basically, are the proposed uses, that all of the ones that are allowable with that district compatible with the ones that are existing with rural preservation? And I can pull up the ordinance if you guys want.
So the big thing to consider, and this is what it goes back in my mind over and over again, is it doesn't matter what the intended use is today. Once it's rezoned, any of those uses are allowed there, including potentially the special exception uses, which could be to include, the horriblest, when you think about, oh, what could be the worst thing that could be in the neighborhood? A junkyard, adult uses, billboards, you think what could be the worst thing that could potentially be my neighbor? So the applicant may have the best intentions today, but rezoning that parcel, the designation goes with the parcel. It's not just a business designation. So that's what we need to consider is for that neighborhood, for those parcels that are agriculture and residential, is everything in industrial appropriate for that neighborhood? So that's what we need to answer in 18D. Is everything appropriate for that neighborhood? That's the question.
What are your thoughts on it? Can you share your thoughts?
I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it is. I looked every way trying to think if there was a way to squeak in, a special exception use. Because that to me would have been the most appropriate way to go. But I couldn't see how to do it there either. But to change that designation, I didn't see any way that could be anything but a spot zone. And to look at, there's a reason, like she said, there's a reason that was looked at to have that designation of rural preservation, and to then to switch it. I think it's doing it for all the wrong reasons. I think the soil indication is a big one. I think, and I'm not sure, without a site plan, have all of the other things been considered, the residential areas. And again, what's in there today? What would we want? We would want this business to succeed beyond all dreams and wishes, so that they got so big that they had to go somewhere else, right? So that they had to buy a bigger place. Then what goes in there? And will those neighbors be upset because something else went in there that they didn't expect could go in there? And our job is to make sure that what that land is being used for is appropriate in their neighborhood. So That's my 12 cents.
Which township is this in?
Sumner. So it would be to the west of the village, northwest, just a little.
This place up above it. Oops. There is a town, village,
Riverdale.
Riverdale. Just north, it's on the same section of part of Riverdale.
When I looked at this, I thought for sure this was Seville Township. So I'm like, why are we looking at this?
The
But it's-
applicant also thought it was Seville. If you saw his letter to the boards, he addressed you guys and Seville Township Board. And I had to clarify to him that it's
Sumner.
Sumner, and that also goes to the Board of Commissioners, not to Township Board.
Okay.
Cause yeah, it is one of those things that's on the border. It's close.
Also on the, real close to the county line too.
It is, yeah. I had to fetch it also.
Okay, any other comment? Concerns?
We had
Discussions?
any comments from the
I don't know.
town supervisor and their board?
I don't think we have, and we did not do a site visit? We did.
No.
We did not, okay.
No, there's been a couple of people who have contacted us, basically just asking like when the meeting would be. And what it was about kind of situation. Then I also let them know that the board of commissioners will also be reviewing it and holding a public hearing, and that you guys are offering the recommendation of it through the board of commissioners. They just said, okay, they didn't have anything to add.
Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Chairperson, one thing you need to look at is under the industrial district typically needs high capacity power. Done right, you need a phase 3 power supply out there. There is none. Natural gas or fuel is not a biggie, but large supply of water, I don't know what the well is. Probably not a 6-inch. Or 8-inch. Major road access, okay, but stormwater management. You need an engineering survey by Spicer Engineering.
That's
It's gonna tell you to dig a pond.
right, for that runoff.
Yep.
Throw on top of that, it's if we sell it. It's not even a thing. Yeah, I mean, it's like an if. They'd ask us to change this with an if.
Yeah.
So it's like, so none of the engineering studies, none of that stuff's ever going to get touched for us to change
No.
this at all, so. When it's spot surrounded by residential, it doesn't sense to be honest.
Okay. All right, any other comments, concerns? Close the public hearing at 5:18. Someone like to make a recommendation for us?
You have a comment on each of those sections. I'm so sorry.
I gotta run,
I know.
and so I don't know if we'll have
The only
a.
ones you have to are those three that I mentioned, where you have to be determined. So first one, do you feel that it's compatible with the surrounding areas and uses?
18.7. Amending the zoning map. Which,
Is there a more appropriate zone district?
Say, yeah,
What would be the more appropriate zoning district?
industrial.
No, so if rezoning is appropriate,
Oh,
the requested zoning district is considered to be more appropriate from county's perspective than another zoning district. And,
but, oh. But if we don't feel that rezoning is appropriate,
right, then you don't feel that industrial is best.
no.
right?
I know, it's worded tricky. So basically, do you feel rezoning is appropriate? If yes,
No.
is there another district? If no, you don't have to go on to that second part of that.
Right, right.
Next one is the 18.7 M. Are there other factors deemed appropriate by the planning or county board? In terms of criteria for amending it, if you felt that amending was appropriate.
No, obviously no.
So then at the end of that, there are sample motions for how you'd like to either recommend approval or denial. It is a recommendation. And the notes that I've added based on your guys' discussion will be your reasoning as to why you do or why you don't believe that it is a recommended
So I'll
amendment.
take a stab at it.
Yeah.
All right. So I would like to recommend to the board that we deny the rezoning request for parcel number 14007-00802, location 4355 North Lumberjack Road, Riverdale, Michigan, 48877, to be rezoned from rural preservation to industrial zoning district, as the following criteria for amending the official zoning map have not been met and are not satisfied by the following criteria. We did not believe that it was compatible with the surrounding uses for the current surrounding uses of property compared to what industrial, changing it to industrial uses would be. We did not feel that zoning, rezoning was appropriate. And we did not feel that there was any other criteria for amending the zoning map.
It'll be that, including the additional comments about spot zoning being placed in.
Correct.
The poor geographical features that
Yes.
allow for high load bearing capacity and
And access to
the infrastructure.
specific infrastructure.
Alquin has made the motion. Is there support?
Support.
All right, motion passes. Well, Alquin, motion by Alquin, supported by Dave. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. All right, guys, I do have to go. You got this, Alquin.
Training in
gavel?
January.
Okay, I'll be there.
All right.
You guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right. Moving on. Old business? Any old business? None. New business. Let's talk about training.
It's gonna be similar to this year, January of this year. Last year's training, but it was obviously this year will be in January of 2026. Unless you guys want to push it back to February, because January's a little early. The only issue with that is the fact that training is very much so needed for the other boards. So are you guys gonna be gone after? It would be January 1st, can you imagine? January 7th, so it will be a week after the New Year's. Is that gonna cause any conflicts?
Anybody going south?
Right, that's the other thing is who's going,
Right.
obviously, will we reschedule if there's bad weather? Otherwise, it's going to be another video training. There'll be additional documents. We might request that Kyle Amara, who's our current legal counsel in anything zoning, come in for a few words and just give you legal counsel in terms of what you can and can't say, when you should ask him and when you should like trust your own judgment type of situation. And then we will also have to look at text amendments for the zoning ordinance around that time as well, but it'll probably wait until the February meeting because we've had a lot of variance requests regarding solar, the height of the panels. At this point, it's getting to the point where you can't approve all the variance requests. You have to change the text.
Right. So did anybody say everybody's okay with January then?
Who's gonna have to be?
I think it's a really good idea, and I think it's something that as we keep evolving, we need to keep making sure we're up on our training and so that we can make the best decisions for our community as possible. So let's keep working at it. Maybe I'll bake cookies and we'll stay awake that way. Committee and special reports. We have a ZBA meeting tomorrow. That's exciting. And guess what it's on? Solar. So that'll be fun. I think that's a Height one as well, if I remember correctly. So anything else you got, Deandra? Special reports?
Thankfully, no.
General comments from public for items not on the agenda? Any motions to adjourn?
Support.
All right, all those in favor? Right. Thank you guys for a great meeting.
All right, I will get this recommendation out to the Board of Commissioners tomorrow morning, and then they'll hold their meeting second Board of Commissioners. Yes, think it'll be in by then.
And I'll
I
see
gotta look at the tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I know they're riveting, and we do have one tomorrow, if you'd like to join us.
Here, so it's not.
So we don't know, this board doesn't make the actual decision, they just offer a recommendation based on the criteria listed in the listed in the ordinance. And then the Board of Commissioners with the same list of criteria, but then they have the ultimate say of whether it's a yes or no. Oh, yeah, so all the neighbors got a letter for this meeting, and then they will get one from the Board of Commissioners meeting as well. So the Board of Commissioners have to post it twice as well, which is why I don't think it's gonna be until the second meeting in October. But I have to look at that criteria again, because you have to post things in a very specific timeline, like 10 to 15 days, and then 5 to 8 days, I think it is. So they'll get their letter between the 5 to 8 day notice one, and then everyone is encouraged, any public member, but specifically the neighbors are encouraged to come in and state like, yes, we want this, or no, we don't want this, or we like this, but we don't like the other options that are in that zoning district. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and meeting, oops.
All your pieces and parts of your computer? Your keyboard?
I have keyboard
Okay.
for everything. I don't know what's going on right now. I also don't know how to stop live streaming. Is it share? Is that?
Yeah.
End the meeting.